Oh shit. Oh shit. Crap, I'm gonna be late.
Welcome to the Puff Podcast.
We got a special guest tonight.
Dude, I'm just
Yeah,
chilling.
boy.
What? Who's in the house? That's chill. I'm just sitting by myself. Hell yeah. Man, why was
What's
this
up,
on
dude?
bro?
Testing. Yeah.
Recording, everything's good. My level's good.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, baby. Let's go.
Spark it. Yo, it's Andreas,
What's up, DL?
and this is
Puff
Podcast.
I messed
Bro,
Whoa,
you
we're out
just
of-
like had a seizure. What the fuck?
Let's redo it. Let's redo it. Let's redo. Let's redo it.
Okay, whenever you're ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Yo, it's Andreas,
And I'm Abdiel.
and this is Puff Podcast. Oh yeah,
Y'all know what show it is,
We
man.
got a special episode for you.
Yeah, this was a sick one, dude. This was
Yeah.
sick.
So we just did a podcast with our new homie Zeid. He has his own podcast, actually, the Unfiltered Vitamin C.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely check him out. He got a new Instagram page and everything.
Yeah, pretty cool. Thanks to like social media bringing us together, just
Yeah.
finding each other. You know, each doing our podcast, similar interests. He's like trying to like reach out to the stoner community as well.
Mhm.
So
And that was interesting because you came up to me the other day, like, yo, this guy from Spain hit me up. He wants to be on the show. And we've been talking about, like, we need to get more guests and do some more episodes. And, man, I've been anxious since you told me, like, let's see how this goes. Because it can go bad, right? And, you know, a lot of times people have that, they expect the worst.
yeah,
So I'm like, in my head, I was like, man, I don't know this dude. It's a random guy. It's through the phone. So the conversation could die and it just could get awkward. And man, it was complete opposite.
no, it was awesome. And like, I mean, the thing is, like, he's got his own podcast, so he's doing the same thing. He does it by himself, which is cool. So he can just like, he's really good at like going off and just diving deep into things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was super interesting. We talked about a lot. We talked about anxiety. We were
Yeah.
talking about smoking and what it's like in Spain and differences in culture.
Health.
Yeah.
Him being from his parents from Palestine and Venezuela. Just so many different difference between, you know, certain cultures, like you said, and how society looks at people and weed and people that do smoke, and just so much. So we talked about so much. It was a
Yeah, bro.
really genuine conversation.
It's a long one too, so let's cut to it.
Yeah. Enjoy, guys.
So I'm wondering, like, you doing it by yourself, if this ever like comes up with you, if you have to like not allow yourself to think about things, or like you hold off certain ideas in your mind and save them for when you're recording.
Yeah, had the same exact issue big time. So like my phone, has a so that's like the screen when you open it,
Yeah.
and then when you slide, there's like a little notes section. So what I'll do is like if a certain idea really comes, I like take a quick note, and then I will just save that for later. Then at the end of the week, when I'm recording, at some point while I'm recording, I will like pick up my phone and start going through the notes again, and then remember those topics, and then start doing it. Or what I might do is have not necessarily a conversation mentally, but at least write down a bunch of things. Like, I don't know if you ever like took like a public speaking class and like had your like notes up with you. Or like, you know, like any presentation,
yeah.
I guess, just like you just have like a couple note cards and you're just looking down and you're like, okay, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Just kind of like that, just so that way when I go to talk, then I can like enunciate every word properly because it's a serious topic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm reporting statistics, you know, I want to say the number clearly because sometimes I just speak too fast and I don't even know until I finish the whole thing. So even if I do it like right now with you guys, like if I just like go like too fast, just let me know because I just do that shit all the time.
Bro.
So the notes is just like following along. Okay, this. But sometimes I've had conversation with my mom and then wanted to have the same conversation like my half in the podcast just because I felt like I said something and I had the same issue. I'm like, wait a minute, that didn't sound like you said, like genuine. It just sounded like, you know, trying to recreate something, but it just wasn't as, because you feel bad you didn't record in the first place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's the issue we've kind of had, like, even from the beginning, like, well, okay, what are we gonna say? How are we gonna talk about it? And even the first episode, I remember listening through it. I was like, oh damn, Because it's crazy when, you say you talk all the time, people talk all the time, but when you hear yourself talk for the first time, you're like, oh, wow, I got to work on this. I got to work on this communication skill or this communication skill. So, like, how you improved since the first one, would you say? Like,
I would say when it comes to the recording aspect, that the very fact that I was recording myself felt uncomfortable. So it wasn't that I was doubting myself or what I was saying, but just the fact that, like, I'm talking and then all of a sudden that I know this phone is recording, it's right here. I would just freeze as if there's people staring at me, like I was performing live. Like, for some reason, like, I would just freeze. And it just took a while to get comfortable. But I think what helped me with that was me rapping, me starting to do that and find my voice through, vocal delivery, like through a performance delivery, I think helped me translate over to a podcast where I'm having conversations, but how do I have it in the sort of confidence that I'm being recorded? So that was my issue, was that just to get over that hitch of like, it's okay, like stop doubting like how you're sounding or whatever, just talk normally, because like you have conversations all the time, just have it like in the background, like it's not even there.
You forget about it. We were nervous. I was nervous as hell, bro. The first one, I remember I was like, "Oh God, we're about to do this. Like, is this for real?" And we actually had some people in the room with us while we did it, so it was a little nerve wracking. But definitely, like, we'll catch ourselves all the time. Like, dude, it sounds like we're doing a podcast right now. All the time.
Getting in that zone.
Yeah.
Especially like whenever we're just chilling in the studio, like it just automatically, whatever we're doing just turns into the podcast. Like we get the podcast vibes and just start going into stuff. But
and even in just normal conversations with people, like, do you feel like you've improved just talking to anybody?
Yeah, I grew up as an only child, so and I moved around a lot, so I kind of grew into the discomfort of always having to talk to different people. So it just got easier and easier over time, and then college helps. Presentations is always a big key. With the more comfortable you get in general, and then the thing that will frustrate me though, I don't know if you guys have this. I'll start having conversations with people and then remember that I discussed something similar on an episode. I'm like, fuck, why am I having this conversation with this bro? I could just tell them which episode to watch and they'll hear me say this shit exactly all over again. I don't know if you guys had that same issue.
Not really.
It like came up once recently because we both like went on trips and stuff. So I went to Alaska like a month ago, and then after we put out that episode, it's like it's definitely funny, like people asking you about it. And I was like, oh, there's like an hour of me talking about that post. Like,
bro, this man saw a whole bear catch a salmon, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That's like nature in its like most preserved state. Just like you're on a TV show, just watching that shit happen.
Yeah, bro, that shit definitely like belittles you. Like you're like, just see how like much more is like going on in like the whole ecosystem and how everything interacts and the whole life cycle and just circle where everything is just, you feel like everything's put there for a reason, like the fish to feed the bear, the fish to feed the river, and it's all just part of each other. It's cool.
So let me ask you, you were saying you were only child, bro, and you moved a lot. I moved a lot too. And that's definitely influenced my style and how I approach everything. And then music, you're into hip hop. Like who you got in the top 10? Or who's one of your favorite artists?
Say that again?
Who's one of your favorite hip hop artists?
Favorite like right now or like all time?
All time, I guess.
Andre 3000.
Okay, so
J. Cole, Kendrick, Drake,
Kendrick. Hey, he's supposed to drop a new album this year, bro.
Hold on, say that again?
He's supposed to drop a new album.
Yeah.
I'm
like I think Jay-Z was probably like one of the first rap songs that I heard, and I didn't even know that it was Jay-Z. I was like 8 or 9. I didn't know what hip-hop was, but I heard something in a commercial, and then I searched it and then found that it was one of Jay-Z's songs, and then next thing I know, I was like blasting it in the patio, and my mom was taking a nap, and she woke up, and her and my dad were like staring at me, and I was just on the computer, just like, didn't know what the fuck was going on, but I knew something felt right about it. It was just and that's one of Jay-Z's lyrics, fuck perspective, go with what feels right.
Ooh.
So, I don't know. What do you guys listen to?
Basically everything, man. Everything.
Yeah.
But Wu-Tang is definitely one of my top, I guess, in hip-hop. In hip-hop, Wu-Tang Clan. Like, that's what got me really into listening to just all these different hip-hop artists. And that's one thing, like, even before we started working together and stuff, I remember, like, he had, because he, Spotify playlists, and I walk in, and Andreas is playing some Tribe and some Diggable Planets. I'm like, oh, what? You listen to this? He's like, yeah, this is dope, bro. Okay. And that's some, like, music is, like, one thing that connects us in the show. Like, bro, like, let's talk about this. Because music, anybody, there's a song with, by Stevie Wonder, where he's like, doesn't matter what, basically, I forget what he says, but it's like, anybody can feel the music. You can feel the groove. Any kind of music, you can feel the groove, you can feel the music. It doesn't matter where it's from. And you obviously said that's a huge influence on you when you rap. And do you freestyle on the show or rap? Do your raps on the show?
I do. Yeah, sometimes I did once or twice like a freestyle while I was listening to something, and then other times, sometimes my notes are just mixed between rhymes and mixed between notes of topics. So sometimes I don't know which one is which, and then I'll look at what I'm reading, I'm like, oh shit, and then I'll just start spitting because that's what I have written. But I think sometimes a lot of the things before I've like made the track, I started saying it on the podcast. So that's why that's the only reason I re-listen to the podcast. Sometimes I might have said something and I'll like take that as a note. But what you said about the music, like the truth like speaks through music, whether or not you understand it. Like J. Cole talked about the first time he listened to Tupac, Brenda's Got a Baby, and he didn't know what the song was saying at all, but he knew there was something truthful being spoken to it. He knew there was something to be resonated. He just didn't quite understand it because he wasn't old enough. So, you can listen to anything and get anybody moving. Like, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I feel like the thing with music is it's this form of emotional communication. Like you communicate through words and stuff, but with like instruments and sounds, you create these feelings and can communicate through emotion, like sparking different feelings in people.
That's facts.
And that's like one of the crazy, like that's how it's like become this universal language, because you don't even understand it. Like I can listen to your music, where I don't know a word they're saying, but still like
so reggaeton music,
still feel the vibes, bro. Like it doesn't matter.
So, obviously reggaeton, like being Puerto Rican, where your family from, or what's the culture that in the music?
Oh, that's funny. That's funny you bring that shit up, because my family, all my grandparents come from Palestine. My mom grew up in Venezuela and my dad in Palestine. And I was born in Texas, then moved to Florida. But in Florida, most people thought I was Puerto Rican.
Where
all
in Florida?
the time. Hello? Say that again?
Where in Florida?
Tampa.
Tampa, okay, you near my family. I got family in Kissimmee, Orlando area.
Oh, okay, shit.
Yeah.
That's in one of my. I have Kissimmee in one of my lyrics actually. I said something about like city dwellers and hillbillies from New York to Kissimmee.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No cap. That's what I don't know how they be talking, bro. But
yeah, here in Spain they think I'm Moroccan, but there's one Puerto Rican dude that I met, and he thought he was the only dude that in Spain has ever said I look Puerto Rican. To everybody else, I'm Moroccan, but I don't know. I guess I have some ethnical ambiguity or something.
No, you do. Like I wouldn't have. If someone had said, "Yo, he's Palestinian, Venezuelan," like, no, dude, I can't even tell.
Dude, I was there last Wednesday and nobody believed me. Like a friend of mine thought I was. A friend of my grandfather thought I was Egyptian. Someone else thought I was Tunisian. Somebody else thought I was Algerian. So it's like.
Do you speak any the languages or?
I speak Arabic with more of a Palestinian dialect. I don't know how to like read or write, but I can just like speak. I sometimes like write shit in Arabic that rhymes with things that I say in English. And I speak Spanish like moderately, so I use Spanish a little bit, but I won't carry a full conversation as well as I can like convey myself in English.
Yeah. So obviously, like Venezuela has been going through their thing, and Palestine has been going through their thing. How does that like affect your parents and you, like? Because I know, at least for me, whatever's going on back home, it definitely just carries on into your life and shapes you. So, like, what do you take from everything going on?
Yeah, when I was in 6th grade, I was living in Panama City, Florida. That's by the Panhandle, and I was at a small private Islamic school. So when I was in 6th grade, that's when the Arab Spring started. So in that school, you had pretty much everybody with each country on that list that started through the Arab Spring revolutions. You had, the Quran teacher was Libyan, the math teacher was Syrian, there's kids from those families too, Egyptian too. So it was like, you know, it was a real quiet hallway sometimes. Even in like 2 years after that, Egypt was still going through a lot of shit, and my doctor was Egyptian. And I remember one day, I think it was I had an appointment Friday, and then that Thursday evening or something, some explosion happened and 40 people died.
Wow.
It was like a bunch of shit going on the next day. You could see it on my doctor's face and the way he was, you know, going through the whole checkup and everything. Like, the dude wasn't feeling that well. And it's always been a constant thing because, you know, if you're, you know, what you can see with Black Lives Matter, you know, you live in a certain neighborhood and you see certain issues and it seems like the rest of the country doesn't give a shit about it. It's the same thing where you could be going through something in your house, you feel like, damn, the rest of the world doesn't care about it.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
100%. I remember in college, whenever Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, you know, being the only Puerto Rican, not just, let alone Hispanic in the department, you know, the degree I was going for, you know, nobody said anything, nobody knew, nobody was really, and it's like, wow. But, you know, obviously you're in your community, you realize everyone has each other's back. It's interesting, so, like, how do you feel, because our roommate, he's Muslim, and he was telling me how the media portrays Islam and all that a certain way, even though a lot of people you meet, it's not like that. So how do you feel like about the portrayal versus reality?
I think what it comes down to is like Muslims in the U.S., for example, I don't think are majority Arab Muslims. I think majority of Muslims in the U.S. statistically are blacks and South Asians. Mm-hmm. And I think majority of Arabs are Christians because Christian migrants started to come into the U.S. before Muslim Arabs. So like an Arab Muslim is like a very small minority ethnically and religiously in the U.S. But that is the only image you hear. When you hear Muslim, you know what I mean? There's plenty of, you know, local community black Muslim leaders too, but that's not the idea you get. You know, you get an Osama bin Laden looking dude, you know, 99% of the time when it comes to a Muslim. And
that's what I was like, picturing. You know, that's what I picture. I didn't know all this, like that they're mostly Christian Arabs that have migrated from that area.
Yeah, so I think Christian migrants started with Latin America too, like in the 1890s, early 1900s, but I think majority of the Arabs since the 60s to the U.S. have been Muslims. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: since the 60s onwards, majority of those Arab migrants have been not just majority Muslim, but also more educated, and then statistically have done better than average household families in the U.S. And then a lot of Christian Arabs that came in, 100 years ago, were more peasants and less educated. So, I studied history. One of my courses was immigration history. So, sometimes looking at migration, where people move, you realize that the world isn't as uniform as you think. People have been circling around, all the time. Like Indonesia is like 85% Muslim. But I don't think Islam is the official religion. I think Buddhism still is. But, 85% is a pretty large majority. And a lot of countries in Africa, you'd be surprised you meet Muslims there too. But, with the portrayal of a Muslim is kind of weird because I don't understand, because a belief is one thing, you know what I mean? For that to be a socialized with a faith, because you could say Christian, anybody could be a Christian. There's plenty of Palestinians that are Christians. There's other Arabs that are Christians. There's Ethiopians that are Christian. There's people in Latin America that are Christians too. So it's just sort of my professor wrote this in his syllabus. Maybe try to compare. It was a course on pirates of the Atlantic, and he was basically saying that pirates used to have such a horrible stereotype during the golden age of piracy that they were deemed like these horrible terrorists. But during the peak of piracy, there was only about 2,000 pirates, but they were like terrorized the entire world. Everybody was always concerned with their ships and their ports and everything about pirates. And 300 years later, we dress up as pirates and we celebrate them and we do movies and shit like that. He was basically saying, in 300 years, people dress up as Osama bin Laden and recreate 9/11 in an almost like commercialized, comedic entertainment way, just like we do with pirates.
That's insane, bro.
I mean, I feel like we do that with everything, bro. Just like any way, like, we can make money or turn it into some kind of scheme or business, like someone's gonna try and do it.
That's this country, bro. Like everything is money. What can we do to capitalize on this, capitalize on that. Wait, so what did you study? Because you're saying a lot of what you talk about and a lot of.
I studied history, but I didn't need like a specialty in history in Florida. And then my master's now is science, tech, and global studies. It's like some type of like new program that the town here has. So it's the reason that I came here. Mm-hmm. And what did you guys study? You guys studied in Colorado?
No.
No, we met each other out in Colorado, but we went to schools in different places. I'm originally from Maryland, from the East Coast.
Okay.
But I studied like graphic design and visual arts out there.
Okay.
Yeah. And then came here, like literally took my exam online, and then the next day flew out here.
Wow.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
That still blows my mind, even though you've told me so many times. Like, yeah, I graduated, I'm dipping. I could never.
Interesting.
So yeah.
So how did you two meet then? If you guys didn't go to school together,
bro, random roommates. Because I moved here from Tennessee. That's where I got my degree, communications.
Okay.
So like that's where I found out. Okay, this camera shit, this is kind of for me. I like this. So graduated. Obviously, things weren't going too well. I'm like, okay, well, I got to figure something out. So opportunity opened up out here. And I had a cousin out here, so I was like, okay, I'll go crash with him until I can get my own place. And then by the time he had to move, I needed to find a place to stay. So I found a house with a room available, and he so happens to live here. I remember
that's
that, bro.
Cool. What part of Colorado are you guys in?
We're outside of Denver, Aurora.
Okay, is that towards the north?
I don't even know.
Yeah, it's like the northwest of Denver. Well, actually, no. Okay. We're actually more down south. We're kind of we're in a weird. It's just like
it's like central east.
It's like east of Denver, though. Yeah.
Because Colorado seems like it's just like one strip, like Denver, Colorado Springs. Like it just seems like it just goes down like one highway, like all the major places.
Yeah, bro. I mean,
and then the rest of the country is just nature.
Basically, like along that highway, it's just crazy mountains. Like the first half is all just flat. And then it just mountains come out of nowhere, and
dude,
that's the other half. It's
insane views, man. Insane, just. Oh, the 5-0s out here, bro.
Shit.
What'd you do, man? What'd you do?
I have one time. Here's the thing. One time I got paranoid. I was smoking outside the window, and this faces the front street. And then as soon as I lit, like literally within seconds, I hear cops. I was like, "Damn, they're good here!" Like, holy shit.
Yeah, they come, bro. For
sniffs it.
I remember in Tennessee, just paranoid all the time, bro. Paranoid all the time, and then coming out here, it's like, it's weird. Nobody cares, bro. You can be in Denver. Don't know if you ever been out here or anywhere that's legal.
No, I wanted to though. It looks like a cool place.
No, you would like it, man. You go anywhere downtown, especially during an event. Obviously, right now with Corona, there's not much events going on, but even when it does happen, like you smell in the air all the time, and people just do not care.
Yeah,
cops will drive right past you; they don't care. It's that difference. Like, whoa. Because my cousin from Florida, I text him, and he's like, "Yo, if you out here, if they smell it, people start going like, whoa, who's smoking? Who's doing that?"
Yeah. I think that's really cool that you could be like that, because one thing I've learned is if I have to pretend that I'm not high, then I don't there's no point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, if I have to try to hide it, like the fact that like I'm still functioning, you know what I mean? But when that stigma starts to play into your head, and then and you start to see yourself the way other people are going to see you. Because I used to be fine here in Spain knowing that I'm high and everybody sees me like with red eyes. Like I didn't care. But when you start to like realize that like, oh shit, you know, they see a high Moroccan walking around, I'm the first person a cop wants to stop for something. You know what I mean? It becomes like if I have weed on me, it's another issue. So it's like, you know, to have that paranoia is like, damn, you know, this anxiety was the complete. You know, this wasn't I was trying to kill my anxiety. I wasn't trying to like give myself more anxiety.
And that's funny how you say I guess because of society's view on it, what it's supposed to cure is actually causing it to happen more.
Yeah.
Because like you said, that's perfect, bro. Because a lot of times, you know, you'd be fried, and then you're like, well, do I look stupid? Am I saying something stupid? Yeah. And then in turn, because you think that, you will actually do something stupid, you say something stupid, you start acting silly. Versus whenever you don't care, like, you know, like around Andreas or other people here, it's like people don't really care. It's you're yourself, and you're actually more chill, and people, okay, he's chilling out.
Yeah.
People actually can't even notice sometimes, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I tell people this all the time, because you would get this from people if they know you're high, everything you do, even if it would be something you normally do, like dancing or rapping or running around or stretching or just sleeping and eating, like whatever, like normal shit, all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's because you're high. Like, oh, well, damn, you're so high because you're doing this. Like, what the fuck? But if you don't know that I'm high, then all you see is, oh, this dude's just running around. This person's just playing basketball. This person's just playing video games, just watching a video. They're just staring off into the stars. All of a sudden, it just look like normal people shit, because that's what it is, normal people shit. It's
100%.
just, it's weird.
100%, bro. And
Yeah, bro. You can't be around someone like, you got to be around someone who knows what's up. Like,
yeah.
I've had that happen before, and it's just not, it totally like puts you in a weird state.
What do you mean, like when people know you are and they kind of have that judgmental?
Just assuming that like you're doing things because you're high, or acting different ways because you're high, and you're like, nah, it's not like that. I'm just high. Like,
yeah, I'm
just doing my thing.
Yeah. One thing I've learned though is like, because this summer I didn't smoke as much, and then it became something that was giving me more anxiety, and I was dealing with other things, so I just didn't smoke at all. So now that I've started to smoke a little bit more, less has been so much more for me. Like, I've needed so much less to feel like a state of high. What I've realized is with the experience too, that sometimes smoking too much reverses itself. Like, a little bit does its job, and then too much all of a sudden defeats its purpose, and it's like a reverse. So now that I've like just felt relaxed, not necessarily like high, like it's not like a Friday night out, it's just me out on the streets and shit, like just not feeling the high as much has made me like less stressed that I sort of like look high, you know what I mean? Because like my eyes used to get like really red in my when it's dilated, but like right now, like it looks normal. Like I smoked like 30-40 minutes ago, just like a few puffs, and then
look at this stoner, bro.
Yeah.
So you said 30-40 and you're fine.
35 minutes ago? Yeah, shit, yeah, it's been a long time. And here's the thing, I was also reading about that THC dilates your blood vessels, so you get more blood pumping, and then your blood pressure decreases. And when your blood pressure decreases, your heart rate increases, because it's trying to get that same amount of blood flowing throughout your body. So that makes your heart rate increase, and then some people feel like the heart rate increase is giving them a heart attack, and that leads them to go into a panic attack.
Yeah. That's the worst, dude. That is the worst.
But it's just normal. It's just your body doing its normal thing. Blood pressure, you relax, blood pressure dropped, heart rate starts increasing, and now it's like 100 beats a minute sometimes for me, which I think, fuck, I'm gonna die. Like, what the hell? But it's not like the weed is giving me paranoia. I'm just anxious about my own body, because I don't understand why my body is reacting this way.
Yeah, that's one of the funny things about getting high is like, you have to like relearn things, because everything feels like you get a new perspective, and every like normal function you do feels so different. Like I remember like one of the first times when I really got high and just walking around, I felt like this robot. Like my legs didn't make sense how they moved. Like they were kind of like I was in a video game, and it was just like I was in control of them, but I wasn't. It was just watching them. And like things like going to like peeing, like taking a piss, like was so weird. Dude,
doesn't it feel weird when you pee? It feels like a waterfall's coming out of your penis. Like it's like squirting. It's like, what the fuck?
And then thinking about like your insides, and then just this bladder full of like liquid, and you're just slowly like draining it out, and like it's weird.
Worst experience, dude, was, well, not worst, but I've told him about it. So Red Rocks is one of the biggest venues. He knows Red Rocks is one of the biggest venues and like music venues in the country. It's literally outside, and it's an amphitheater made out of rock, red rocks, like literally. And it was to see Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh shit!
Yeah. I went by myself. So obviously that's one thing. Like, don't go by yourself if you're gonna. That's just gonna cause just maybe some anxiety. You've never done it before. So I'm chilling, but a little fact, it gets cold as hell out here. Like, I think we got a couple more weeks before it starts getting cold.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it snowed.
It's surprisingly cold, because my cousin lives there, and I've seen like temperatures and shit. I'm like, wait a minute, for west, but you guys have high altitude, so you're close to when the sun dips, it's like it's cold as balls.
Bro, It snowed a couple weeks in September. Like,
dang.
Yeah, we've already gotten
I've never seen that before in my life. So that's
no.
So it's already cold as hell. So I guess the thing about people out here too is just like a huge just smoker community. So a dude gives you a little sativa, and you know obviously a head high. So I start tripping, man. It was so cold. I thought I had pissed myself.
No way.
Yeah, dude. I was fine, but I thought I pissed myself. It was so cold. And then people that were sitting next to me were leaving. So I was like, oh my God, do I smell bad? I was just tripping the whole time. And then Jedi Mind Tricks was an act before Wu-Tang Clan came on. And they start chanting, die, motherfucker, die. So in my head, I was like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. So I had to walk to the bathroom, splash water in my face, like, you're not going to die. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. So yeah, for sure, bro. Those panic attacks are the 100% the worst, dude.
Holy shit. I've thought I've shitted myself once, but the crazy thing was I wasn't even that high. I just literally, there was some, like it just sweat or what it was, and I'm just like, dang, did I shit myself? And like, did I pee myself?
So you
and,
start getting up.
I was trying to touch my pants to like feel it, and then I was like smelling my hands, my ass, like, oh, I didn't shit myself. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? I was like, because here's the thing, when you know you have anxiety and then you smoke for anxiety, you got to be careful of when it's like, it's not the high, it's you. Like, you have anxiety. You need to realize that you are going to freak out over shit. And you just need to, like, relax and take your step and, you know, take your steps to calm yourself down because, like, you know, going to the, like, taking a pre-workout or whatever, protein shakes, it can help, but you still need to do your workout. You know what I mean? Like, taking a week can help me, but I still need to do my own things to make sure that I'm still good. You know what I mean? It's not like a cue for all. Like, I feel like people that like critique us or like will stigmatize, you know, really try to underestimate it a lot of what a medicinal plant can offer. And then I feel like a lot of people that do use it will like tend to overestimate exactly how much they're, you know, benefiting.
Mm-hmm. That's happened to me, bro. You're not the only one. I've thought, especially when you're with other people, you got to sneak those checks. Like, did I really shit myself? Like, is it okay? I'm good. But no, you're right, bro. Like, I mean, what do you do? I mean, because why do you get anxious and
Yeah, bro. I mean, I feel guns like with what you're saying. I think of like marijuana as a tool, and it all depends how you use it. Because like with anything, like there's that saying like you could build a house with a hammer or you could tear a house down with a hammer. Like it depends how you use it. And like with smoking and getting high, it takes you to the state where you can understand and like start to overcome your anxiety, but like you were saying, like you have to put in work. And I like, for me, like weed helps unlock it because like you see things in a new light, and it just, part of it is like the paranoia. And for me, like the paranoia has always been like eye-opening to like areas in my life where I'm not satisfied with myself, but they're like things that you kind of like tuck away and you like don't think about it. But then the weed like brings it up and it comes in this form of like paranoia. And then like the weed just makes me like understand like that's what's triggering my anxiety, and it's all building on top of each other, and I have to like infiltrate it from the bottom and tear it like down brick by brick. Like,
Yep.
A lot of it is just these like just like habits I've like built without realizing, just ways of like thinking where like you like, so like a negative thought comes and it just triggers the same, it's like this cycle where it just keeps triggering either other negative thoughts or the same negative thought
Over and over.
Yeah. And like through smoking, like you kind of like are able to see it in a different way where like sometimes maybe it's like paranoia and you're like scared of it, or other times you like have this like profound thought where you like are able to push past it.
Yeah, dude. And that was a good point, man, because a lot of times, like, at least for me, first, because everybody, when they first start smoking, at least especially when you're younger, you kind of just do it because, you know, it's cool, everybody's doing it, it's chill, and especially in states like Tennessee where it's not legal, it's like, oh, I'm cool, you know, I gotta meet the plug, whatever, you know, at Walgreens or something on the corner, right, or some parking lot, you don't even know who it is. But yeah, dude, like, at least for me at the time, it was kind of just doing it for fun and maybe as an escape. So when it triggers that anxiety, it's like, oh, I'm freaking out, blah, blah, blah. So then stopping and then coming back, and then realizing, okay, what's going on, right? Let me figure out. And then you start, because a lot of times, man, there's some certain strains that get me thinking, and then certain things from the past come up, and I start thinking about it, like, okay, why is this affecting me now? Okay, I got to move past this, and you become a better person from it, 100%. And to be honest, like, yes, you know, if you have anxiety and then you smoke, you might get panic attacks. You might feel anxious sometimes from it. But I feel like because of that, I feel like it's weights, right? When you do weights, your arms get sore, right?
Mm-hmm.
But eventually,
the muscle tears, but it rebuilds. Yeah.
Rebuilds so that whenever you actually got to pick something up that's super heavy, you're fine. So like I feel like, yeah, maybe you get panic attacks, maybe you get anxiety, but then whenever you don't smoke and you're in that same situation, or maybe a similar thought comes up, you're like, oh, it's fine. You know, I'm better than that. It's not true, or whatever is going, you know. And you grow from it, bro. You grow from it 100%. Like, that was a good point, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good thing you brought up as well, Andre, with the negative thoughts and the cycle, because I've had that happen too. And it's like, you know, you get back to thinking again, back to the amount, like, that I smoke too much. Is this what causing anxiety? Or is because I'm a person with anxiety, dealing with anxiety? Because I used to say that, like, weed and in a social setting, especially why it's like so communal, because I feel like it cuts the bullshit. You know what I mean? You start smoking something together and it's like all of a sudden, I'm not looking at you in any other way other than like, I'm feeling good. I know this person's feeling good. And all of a sudden you start talking about real shit. Like, there's nothing like that feels uncomfortable. It's not like being drunk, you know what I mean? Where you're just like, you know, your judgment and vision are not impaired. You're still there, but all of a sudden you're comfortable enough to be with somebody else and just talk. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I feel like when you're with yourself and then you have those sort of negative thoughts, anxiety, it's just sort of that cycle of like that conversation you're having with yourself, even if you don't know you're having it. But you are sort of there becoming accepting with yourself and more comfortable with the idea of those negative thoughts. You know what I mean? Like, don't treat it as a negative thought. Like, just observe what you're feeling. Don't become what you're feeling. Just like observe it and try to like critique it and learn from it. And then, like you said, so you can like grow from it. And then later in the future, when you have other issues, you're like, wait a minute, you know, I've already dealt with other personal things before. But yeah, I think because so many people are like feel scared to like tap into their thoughts. That's why so many people choose to be extroverted. Most people probably are introverted, but the fear of being alone makes us choose to be around like toxic people like all the time. You know, we want to be around people more than we just want to be alone. You can be happy alone. Yeah. But you don't think being around people is going to be a recipe for happiness. That I have people. It's the quality of your relationships, not the quantity.
That's a gem right there, bro.
Yeah, dude, for real.
Because a lot of people are scared. They're scared to be in their thoughts. They're scared to be who they are. So maybe being extroverted and constantly going out. And I'm not, you know, no judgments. So people like to have fun.
Yeah.
Everyone likes to have fun.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. But there are people that do it because they don't want to be alone in their thoughts. And once you are, man, it's crazy how when you're able to be alone, you tend to not be alone because people want to be around you. They're like, oh, what is up with this dude? Like, why is he always smiling? Like, why does he always seem happy? Like, and people just come to you. And that's something. And you brought something really interesting out. When you're smoking with other people, all the bullshit gets cut out, and you're able to just talk. I've been in a situation where it's the opposite, right? Right? There's no more bullshit, right? You're just chilling, and you realize, you know what? I don't really vibe with this person because all the time we ain't talking. Ain't much to say. We're just sitting there. So it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be hang out with this person. Maybe I shouldn't. They're not, we don't vibe. So, you move on. And it opens up that, I guess, I mean, because like you said, you're not impaired when you smoke.
It depends.
I mean,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you say that again? Sorry, you got cut off a little bit.
Sorry, I said you're not impaired when you smoke, and then Andrea's like, yeah, maybe, sometimes. But
it depends when. But I think it all goes back to the culture and the mindset of smoking. Because here in Spain, it's like you go to a cannabis association, it's like a lounge, like a bar, right? So it's like a little bit of tobacco, a little bit of weed. Everybody's having a conversation.
What?
So the physicality of it, people are like smoking a little bit at a time versus, you sit around the U.S., somebody rolls a full blunt, they're going to smoke that full blunt. Nobody ever goes halfway of a blunt. Oh, I'm feeling good, I should just stop. And when I was explaining this to like a couple people here, that's the first thing he said to me was, you Americans have this problem. You don't know when to stop. You don't know when you're feeling good to just stop when you feel good. You guys always want more. So it goes back into like, how much am I going to smoke? How much am I going to, how much do I need to really enjoy the moment? You know what I mean? Like, do I need to be this drunk or this high, this influence to be able to enjoy the music and the people around me? And it all goes back to the people you want to choose to do stuff with.
Exactly. Bro, that is American society. Even with alcohol, too. Like,
Yeah.
Because, you being German, like, over there, alcohol is fine.
Yeah.
But here we have, like, a bench problem. In college, it's like bingers. Everyone wants to just get blackout drunk, or just get so fried out of their minds they can't get off the couch. Like, I didn't know, like, people from other countries saw it that way, like you Americans.
Yeah, no, it's super true, though, because, like, you're saying blunt, but, like, most of the time, like, it's, like, multiple blunts, like, people, like, smoking out here, like, it's definitely ridiculous. And
roll another one up. Like, damn, bro.
For real. I think it was interesting, though, like, talking about how weed and alcohol are both social lubricants. But, like, the differences between the two, because, like, with weed, when you're smoking in social situations, you're often, like, okay with the silence. Whereas, like, with alcohol, you're just, like, this wrecking ball and always trying to fill it, so it's just like constant like loudmouth just saying shit to say shit, whereas like weed, like you listen more and then it just creates this like deeper conversation. But then like also like with that like understanding who you're with more and your relationships with people.
Well, because I've been in situations, man, where I'll be like, hey, I'm good, I'm tapping out, right? Like, man, I'm good. Like, that shit's strong. That's some loud. Like, I'm good. Oh, you pussy. You gonna punk out. And so, that's another thing a lot of people want to, like, embarrass you or kind of just belittle you because you don't want it. And so, I feel like a lot of people got to fix, like, be comfortable with. And it got to a point, right, to where eventually I was just like, I'm not a pussy. I'm good. And they're like, oh, all right, my bad. And after that, exactly. It was like, oh, damn, okay. Now I don't feel, bad about having to say, hey, I'm good. I don't know if you guys ever been in a situation like, you keep going because, well, everyone else is, so I don't want to be the first one to stop or only one like not doing it.
Yeah, I feel like from what I've seen, why that happens often in like America and like in our culture is like I feel humans have this need for like discomfort and like I don't know, like pain. Just like they need like we're talking about with like working out, where you need to tear your muscles to regrow it. That's like something we need as a whole. Like that's how we grow and develop. And with a lot of American society, we grow up like very comforted. Like we don't have very many worries and shit. So kids turn to like drugs, like alcohol and stuff, and they kind of like use it to like abuse themselves. Like not even like fully thinking about it like that, but it's just like you need some like good with the bad,
Yeah.
And because
there's balance to everything.
There's so much like comfort and little worry and responsibility in our life. Like the flip side of that is like extreme like drug abuse and alcoholism and I don't know, it's weird.
So which I like, because so I tell people I don't like scary movies, right?
Yeah, me neither.
I don't like horror movies. And they're like, why? And you brought up a good point, how here people's lives aren't as... I mean, I won't say people's lives aren't hard, but compared to other countries, it's like...
Quite privileged.
Right. So I bring up a point how I was listening to this comedian. He's like, I don't get why Western society loves horror movies and likes to feel scared. When you go to countries like you were saying, an explosion that killed 40 people. People that live in these areas, they wake up scared every day.
Yeah.
So why don't want to feel that way? Like, and people are like, oh, well, you got a point. You got a point. So let me ask you. So there's some strains like what's one like Pakistani Kush and stuff like that. Have you been out there, or is it good out there? Is it sticky, or just some nice?
Well, I don't know. I've never tried any of that, and I've never been there. But like I've read with certain strains, like Hindu Kush. Like I was reading like some of the earliest traces of weed they found in Siberia, like because the climate there was so much different before, and that when it grows in the mountains of like Nepal too, I think, and northern India and shit like that, that I'm assuming it's like real sticky and you know, and thick and shit. But I mean, I'm curious because, you know, weed grows there, but it also does in Latin America too. But those are two different climates. So, you know, you're getting like, I think that's like what they classify as like the major between like a sativa and an indica is just the type of plant itself being differently. But I don't know. You have to know yourself too, because you said that you had issues of like an anxiety attack. You know, something that you smoked out with sativa because it's like making your brain go crazy. Like, you know, I'm already a dude where my mind is moving like all the time. I don't need that. Sometimes I just need my body to relax because like depression and anxiety have real effects on your body. Sometimes I lose appetite for so long because of anxiety and I don't eat, and that's smoking has helped me with that. Not just like the anxiety of like mentally, but at least it gives me like an appetite to like get up and cook and eat. So I know myself for what not just for what I want, but what I need. What is the purpose? What is exactly I need to accomplish? And then that translates into what I'm going to choose to smoke. Because I don't think I've smoked a sativa in a while. I prefer indica simply because I don't need to race my mind that much or to feel that that energy. But again, it all depends on, you know, who you are, how your body reacts. It's more of a trial and error kind of thing than anything else.
100%. Because I seen videos of like soldiers out there in I don't know what country, and just fields of just cannabis plants, just fields, bro, like a cornfield. They're just walking through it like, holy shit. But bro,
it's natural, like it grows naturally everywhere. That's why I don't get like when like in the book of Genesis, like God says like, "Wrote that here I give you all the plants and seeds and you know, for you guys to bear with." And it's like shit, I see it everywhere. You know what I mean?
So and you bring up a good point, like depression and mental health, bro. Like, because that's what I don't get. Like, people that say, why are you doing that? But it's a natural plant. Like you just said, you know, biblically, it's like use plants. But then people drink all these pills, right? Yeah. So, like, for example, my grandmother herself, like, she doesn't take these pills. And she just goes... She hits a really bad place. So she has to take these pills. So it becomes this dependency.
Yeah.
Where, how many people have you met that, you know, that smoke or whatever, it eventually helps them to the point where they can stop if they want to. And then they pick it up when they have to or they need to. You know. But yeah, man, in my experience, like, especially being in a state like this, it's amazing that you can see what you're getting.
That's true.
Although I don't anymore, but having done so, like, you see, like, okay, this is indica, this is hybrid. Okay, so like for me, I've been going towards hybrid because indica.
And it's been tested too, right? You know, you're not getting pesticides and mold and shit.
Yeah.
What do you? I never even asked you. What do you prefer?
I like almost always get indica just because like I feel like the same. Like I'm like I'm into like skateboarding and snowboarding, and like my mind's always go, and like I always am like using my body and like trying to like do as much as I can. So like I just like use it to like chill out, like chill my body, chill my mind. Like most of the time I'll just like smoke at night and just be chilling like.
And I don't know, too. He'll come in just grinning from ear to ear. I'll be like, you just smoke. He's like, yeah bro.
Because, like, all day it's just, like, going, like, fully on. And then I just, like, it helps me, like, kind of wind down and turn off. But it's interesting because I feel like I definitely know people who are dependent on weed, like
Yeah, of course. Like
who
so
like
many.
yeah, who like I don't know who they'd be without it. You know, like like so I feel like I don't know if it's more because it's definitely like a person thing. Like it depends on the person and like who you are. But yeah, and like comparatively, like weed isn't something that's gonna like hook people, but there are people who will become dependent on it just because that's the kind of people they are.
Yeah, and a psychological association, the way like with porn or like an activity, people get addicted to the gym. Like there's people literally abusing their bodies working out because there's a certain point that you cross, and some people are willing to do that simply because of how happy you get doing it. I guess
It's because we had a conversation with our roommate. He was kind of just saying like, would you do it, or why do you do it, and then saying how bad it is and it's an escape. But like
he doesn't smoke at all. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like questioning us. But like I don't know.
No, I was saying because he said it was about an escape.
Yeah.
So like you just said, working out, pornography, man. Like a lot. Like
video games.
We talked about it actually. We went to talking about dating. In our generation, and one topic came up was how pornography, man, is destroyed. I guess. I mean, if you compare men today versus men 50 years ago, right? Men 50 years ago were maybe more likely to approach that girl, versus now. And all this stuff it's escape. So, yeah, cannabis, weed can be bad if it's used in that way to escape something.
Yeah.
And that's the only solution to all that is like it's inside of that person to go, you know what? Let me start running away. Let me actually
because we were just talking about the anxiety and then like that stronger that you get from going through those different panic, those different things. So that's not an escape. If anything, that's going through that shit head on. That's going through it bullshit free. If anything, you not smoking is the escape because you're afraid of seeing and feeling what you actually want to see and feel versus what you try to bullshit yourself throughout the day by saying like I don't take anything, but caffeine and nicotine are drugs, and some people smoke and drink coffee every single day, and that's their daily thing. You know what I mean? Like the idea of I think a lot of people take pride in like I'm not reliant or dependent on anything or anybody. Nothing is going to stimulate me in any way. But food, spice. That's why spices are invented, right? That's why most of us don't cook like white people do. We like spice the food up and like give shit some flavor. That's what weed is. It's the flavor of like you can walk around not smoking weed.
This ain't true,
fine.
right?
But if you want a little bit of salt and flavor to your life, it's just a light one up shit.
Yeah. I mean, is this true? This is the food season, man. The food season. I've seen you cook, man.
I put some. I don't know, man, bro. I don't know what I'm doing cooking. Like,
I don't know where the stereotype comes from, man.
I do random shit when I'm cooking. I'll throw in some spices. I'd mix some stuff up. I don't know.
Hey, but it's bomb, bro.
Yeah.
Shit. But yeah, you got a good point. Like I read one time, the biggest drug actually is sugar.
Oh shit, that'll kill you too.
I mean, you give a kid some sugar and then try to take a phone away from him.
That's true.
See how they just go nuts.
Because with sugar, you also get because here's the thing: fruit is also sugar too.
Yeah.
Because it's fructose, but it can get once you eat it, your body processes as glucose like sugar. And it could be the same thing. And I think like the Chinese have a saying, basically saying to eat fruits in the morning, not at night, because at night you don't want to give yourself a bunch of sugar right before going to sleep.
That's facts. But I will say this with fruits. So I went in a period where it's like, okay, I'm not going to eat no sweets. And I was like on a fruit binge. And then that first piece of candy, I was like, whoa, this is a weird kind of sweet. This is like way too sweet.
Yeah. It like hurts your mouth almost. You're
you're
like, what the fuck?
Like you feel like you're getting a cavity on the spot, bruh. And then the opposite has happened where, I eating too much candy and then eating a watermelon after a while. It's like, man, this doesn't taste like anything. Even though watermelon is freaking delicious.
Yeah.
So, definitely like artificial shit. Anything like that is just...
Yeah.
But it's sad, bro. A lot of people just kind of fill themselves up with it. I guess I don't know.
I mean, it's so easy to get hooked to it. I remember, like, same thing, like, when I stopped drinking soda, and then I, like, only drink water for a while, and then I tried soda, and it was just straight up, like, drinking a can of sugar. Like, it was the gross. I was like, what in the hell?
Dude, it feels like acid on your throat, bro.
But, like, when you're doing it, like, you don't think, like, it's delicious, man. Like, it's so easy to get, like, caught up in that shit and not realize, like, what you're doing.
Even though I can't stop, I like Dr. Pepper. So there's Dr. Pepper.
Yo, me too. Yeah, with some like fried chicken and like a couple biscuits.
Yeah.
But, like, the thing is, it's like, it's sugar, like, this fucking delicious taste mixed with, like, it's getting you high at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's stimulating you in, like, so many ways. And, like,
That dopamine rush, man.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you're, like, literally, like, salivate for it.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. I mean, it's a balance, right? Like,
Everything in moderation. You know, you could drink too much water in a short amount of time, and that could cause you to die. It could cause your cells to like blow up. You know what I mean? Like, who would have, like, people have died from drinking too much water. And you can get, you know, if you eat too much red meat, you get the gout. If you eat too, you know, anything you do too much or too little of sometimes, it's going to fuck you up. It's all about finding, like, just that middle spot.
bro, I laugh because I honestly don't even know what gout. I've heard of gout, and I don't even know what it does. I don't even know what it is.
I've never had it, but, like, I know that's, like, an issue that some people get. Like, so I don't know. I think it just fucks up with your toe or something. I don't know what it does, but I know people can't walk when they get it.
That's crazy. Red meat causing something with your toe. Man.
Yeah, it's interesting. There was an episode of Everybody Hates Chris about it.
Where his dad had gout?
Yeah, Tyler Cruz. Yeah, no, is that his name?
Terry
The
Crews?
father? Terry Crews.
Yeah,
Terry
well, the
Crews,
actor,
yeah. In one
I don't-
episode, he couldn't work because he had the gout, and all he did in most episodes was eat the meat. I mean, we eat chicken. I think that was like always there was a plate of chicken in the fridge. So I think it's something to do with just meat. I don't know if it's red meat specifically, but red meat is usually like the worst ones. Like, people that don't go vegetarian, a lot of people will cut out red meat. So I'm assuming those are the worst ones.
Yeah. So Andreas had told you said he listened to an episode where you talked about vitamins and so you go in about health and taking care of your body.
Yeah.
I think you were talking about broccoli or something.
Yeah, I took a nutrition and drugs class, so I remember shit about nutrition. Here's the thing. My anxiety has always followed education. So when I was, like, learning about religion, I got anxious as hell about Judgment Day and, like, heaven and hell. When I was learning about driver's ed, I got so anxious I didn't want to drive a car. When I was learning about sex, I got so scared I didn't want to have sex with a girl. Like, I'll talk to girls and go out with girls, but I just didn't, like, it was just anytime I was educated about something, it made me so anxious and thought so many questions about that thing that it would just sort of turn me off to it. So when it came to, like, nutrition, like, oh, you know, what goes into your body is important. Your soda is bad. I'm like, oh, shit, what do you mean? Why do they keep advertising this shit? Why is it so cheap in the gas station? Why is there so many commercials in my face to drink this shit and it's so bad for me? So, like, that sort of a anxiety sort of made me, go into look, okay, what does these vitamins mean? How do I read the label of products? And then when you get old and you start cooking is when you really start to, like, familiarize yourself with nutrition. When you do grocery shopping, when you buying shit, you know, you want to be, like, aware of, like, what you're getting in it and stuff like that.
100%.
So I think that was just something I've been doing, like, and then when you play sports too, like when you go to the gym and you're doing things too, you want to know that I think most people, like most sources, would put nutrition like over your workout, like what you eat being more important than the workout itself. So if it's like that important, then, you know, it's so easily to slack off. It's so easy to say, fuck it, you know, I'm just going to eat this. I'm just going to pick up this from down the street. And I'm just going to, you know, to drink soda over water. Because you can, you know, like you said, you can get yourself caught into like, wait a minute, I know it's bad, but this could be delicious. I could drink this all day.
It
You
tastes
know what I mean?
so
If I'm not
good, but
careful.
it's so bad. Shoot,
was
yeah,
like-
go get that Travis Scott burger from McDonald's.
Bro, I remember this one
Yeah.
time being high and I was eating some candy or something. And, like, the thing about, like, getting high is, like, you'll get these, like, visualizations and, like, you're able to, like, see things. So, like, it builds, like, bigger meaning to it. And I was just, like, seeing this, like, sugar and stuff going to my body and just imagining my body, like, being built out of, like, you know how, like, the saying, like, you are what you eat. And just, like, literally, like, imagining everything I'm eating just, like, building my body, and I was like, oh, this is not gonna hold up. Like,
No, not at all.
Yo, I thought I was the only person that did that. Sometimes when I drink water while high, it feels I can see the water going through like the
Yes,
whole
bro.
way through, and I can see my whole body. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and then I'm a skinny dude. Like I'm 6 feet, like 130 pounds. So I hear my heartbeat. Like if I close my fist, like, and I can hear it. Like, if I put my hand on my thigh, I can hear it. I go to sleep, and sometimes I can't sleep because I can hear every heartbeat, and I'm like, what the fuck? What the
Can
fuck?
someone turn
What the
that
fuck?
off?
And yeah, so I thought I was the only person that would do that. Like, and then if I know like a quote or a saying, like "you are what you eat," then all of a sudden it just like I take it so literally, or like it just goes into different places with it. But that's interesting. This is why I like having these conversations, because sometimes I feel like, shit, am I the only person that went through this? That like thought of this?
Man.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that was like such a game changer, because then starting to eat more healthy, and I would like feel it like benefiting me, and I would like, as I ate, like whether I ate bad or good, I would feel the effects of it more. Because before that, I was just kind of eating and not so much thinking about it.
Yeah, dude. And just like eating bad, like I know for a fact, like whenever I eat terribly, and then the next morning you wake up just groggy, low energy, compared to, man, there's days like for breakfast, man, sometimes I'll eat a cantaloupe, and that energy is just at a high all day. And it's crazy. People think you got to work out and run 5 miles a day to lose weight. It's like, just don't eat out and cook at home, and you'll see how quick you lose weight. Drink water, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, no, for a fact. I mean, for me, it's the opposite. So like, if I have smoked and then eat something bad, I'll just feel so terrible. Like, you piece of shit, why'd you eat that burger? Like, stop doing this to yourself. I'll feel my gut just kind of like expanding. Like, oh god. But then that's the thought process. Okay,
Sometimes
I gotta
I
stop.
feel like, oh, sorry, you got cut off. I didn't hear that last part.
No, I was saying that. Then the thought comes in my head, like, okay, I gotta stop and do a little better.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to position yourself like maybe like prep your meals. You know what I mean? Maybe like do like lunch. Like if you know you're gonna be at school, at work all day, you can do breakfast at home, and then when you get home at night, you can do a light dinner. But in the middle of the day, when you got all this shit to do, like just have something set. That helps too. And sometimes like. I know for me, here's the thing. There's like this page on Instagram, something holistic. It was like a health page dealing with anxiety, like ways that your diet affects your mind. Because in Eastern philosophy, your gut is actually your first brain. It's not your second brain. So that way, your gut actually knows what you just took, what's going on before your brain processes it. So with that in mind, that page kind of like suggests like different things. And one of the things for me is like having like small meals. Because sometimes if you get anxious or some shit, you need to eat, or or sometimes the fact that you haven't eaten and your body's like in a survival mode or something like that. I realized that because I used to fast a lot in the month of Ramadan. Muslims fast for a whole month. So if somebody told me this like at 18, that my senses are more heightened, my eyesight and everything a little bit because of that fast. But I didn't know anxiety is also there, because anxiety is essentially, there was an article recently that Joe Rogan tweeted, actually, that talking about mental health, anthropologists looking at mental health from a different perspective, basically saying that they are adaptations to adversity, not necessarily as disorders, but simply in a way that our body through evolution is going through certain issues. That is not a disorder, it's benefiting us. So you being anxious is simply your body in like this fear or flight response. You're always analyzing things. There's something to run away from or something to embrace, either physically or mentally. It goes it goes both ways. So keeping yourself like eating good gut friendly foods, eating shit, bro, broccoli, like vegetables, like that's what I talk about in the podcast. I even wrote rhymes related to this shit too. It's like I just like just cooking broccoli, just like eating broccoli with olive oil, some like sauce or whatever, little balsamic vinegar, and I just eat that shit up like chips. Like I've gotten myself to just like trick my brain into thinking like it's chips, and I'll just eat the shit. Like I don't know. It's just
And your body loves it. Your body's like, oh yes, thank you, man, appreciate
our
it.
bodies have always liked it. Our minds just didn't, because our bodies didn't like the junk food. But we convinced ourselves that this burger and all this shit is like really good for me. Like it's not good for you, but it like tastes so good because you associate the liking for it. But I think you can trick your brain, because your brain tricks you, but you have to find ways to play it and not have it play you.
And then it becomes a habit, and your brain's like, okay, well, this is normal. Let's do this.
Yeah, that's the weird thing is like we have these primitive brains, and we're living in this futuristic world, and like with everything,
Yes,
like,
exactly.
like with food, we have these primitive desires to just like nourish ourselves. So it doesn't matter that it's not good for us. We just feel like going back, like we need to feed ourselves because we don't know if we're gonna get food or not. Like this is just like subconscious thoughts that have like been built into our brains over years. And it's weird because like most of society has gotten rid of a lot of these issues to where we don't need to worry about them, but they're still built into our brain.
One thing I was listening to School of Excellence onto your technology topic. So School of Excellence is a great podcast. Really helped me personally. Just is basically I forget what his name.
Lewis House.
Okay, yeah. I follow him on Instagram, but I haven't listened to an episode of that podcast. That's what it's called, School of Excellence?
Yeah, School of Excellence. You definitely should. Or School of Greatness?
Yeah.
I always mess it up,
School of
man.
Greatness, okay.
Every time I say School of Excellence, he's like, greatness, dude. But basically, what it's about is he'll invite anybody and everybody from scientists, doctors, to even Kobe Bryant. He's had Kobe Bryant on there.
Wow.
And
before he died? That's
like a couple years ago. And that was he probably looking back was like, okay, this is now that after he's died, he's like, wow, this is a legendary episode. But basically, it gets people that they're just great at what they do. And so one person came on, he was talking about how depression and anxiety, on a graph, let's just say it's on a graph, has gone up at correlating or parallel to a smartphone, right?
Oh shit!
So before it's just kind of just progressively gotten worse, and it makes sense. Hiding behind a screen, and people are less likely to talk, maybe make eye contact. I mean, you go out, right? A lot of times I'll be at the barbershop. I mean, before Corona, and people waiting to get their haircut, and they're all just like on their phone. And I mean, we're all guilty of it, right? Especially we're the generation that smartphones were coming out when we were in middle school, elementary school.
Yeah, bro,
exactly. Those ages, the comparing yourself with other people. You're at a growing age too. You know what I mean? Like we got all this shit at like weird emotional times throughout like our lives. So it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, and noticing that, I mean, after listening to that podcast, I kind of made a conscious effort. Okay, I'm gonna leave it in my pocket. I'm bored right now, and I'm in my thoughts. But you know what? I'm just gonna sit here, and man, it feels great. It feels great, and people watching is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
You start noticing.
You see funny shit. Like you start to like analyze people, and you're like, fuck, people are fucking weird. Like I'm weird too. Like I've probably been caught like sniffing some shit in public. You just like end up doing weird things throughout your day, and you see other people too, and you're like, weirdo. Like we're all fucking weird. Like we're all doing. Like I saw a kid fall today on a skateboard, and I was like, that's stupid, bitch. Like I was just like laughing because I've been at that age. Like I was like, he went up on a penny board on the ramp, and I was like, he's gonna fall on his ass. And then he goes down the penny board, and he's halfway through, and bam, he falls so hard, he picks up his skateboard, and he limps all the way back to his parents. I mean, he thinks no one saw him, but people in Spain stare. That's the thing. Like it's culturally like it's okay to look at someone's shoes, pants, shirt, their hair, like notice like the smallest things about them and stare and be caught staring. And like most of the time, people will still stare. Like they don't give a fuck. Like Americans think it's weird because for us, like, we stare at somebody and it's like, the fuck, you gonna say something or not? Like, you know what I mean? Like that could be the easiest way to start a fight. Yeah, it's like too much eye contact is not good. Too little, you're a bitch. You have to find like in the middle, like just enough of like, it's like prison. You know what I mean? You have to like, I'm not gonna fuck you up, but I might if you try to fuck with me. You know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, I
Yeah.
wish I could understand the analogy, but I'm not trying to get
I
shanked
don't
out
think
here.
I do, bro. I just read shit, and then when I
Yeah.
retell it to people, like it makes it seem like I really know. But all you have to do, I recorded this today, like 20 minutes before I called you guys. I was like, all you have to do is quote a couple philosophers. Just like memorization is key. If you can memorize some important shit, it just makes you seem like you know what that shit is.
Yeah.
But you just memorize something. You know, it's not like you really know.
Yeah.
It's like school. Like that's why grades are irrelevant, because in school, if you start writing shit down on your test, you just the teacher gave the study guide, you memorized it, you wrote it on the test, and now you can say, I got an A, I'm so smart, but you didn't think of anything. You didn't show any creativity or any way of your expertise, anything. It's just memorize shit. And some kids are better at memorizing stupid things like than other kids.
That's facts, bro. Because in college,
How
bro,
did-
I breezed through college. I didn't even try, and got C's and shit. But you know, I finished. And on the flip side, there's students where it's like that's what their value is based on. And some of the most intelligent people I've met don't have degrees, you know, or didn't go to school.
Yeah.
And that's kind of sad how, at least in a lot of countries, that's what's prioritized versus what's really in that person's brain. You know, because like comedians are one of the most intelligent people. Like I mean, Dave Chappelle dissects human nature in such a great way.
Yeah.
that I don't even think he went to school. I mean, he just.
But his family did. Like, he comes, like, I think one time he said that he was the first person in his family not to go to school.
Yeah.
Like, where usually the story gets retold the other way around, but it was like, so, I mean, there's social observers, right? And it takes a certain level of intelligence to observe the things around us. Of course, you didn't do the scientific research, but social research is something we do on a natural basis anyway. It is natural for us to observe, to make assumptions, you know, like in our hypothesis, and then follow that up with, you know, data collection. And we do data collection anyway. We follow people. We ask questions like that roommate that you said that, you know, doesn't smoke, like, hey, why do you guys smoke? You know what I mean? It's just certain things I don't know about, you ask somebody else, and then you keep building. So that's all it is. And then telling it in a funny way. That's just creativity.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
And that's what we kind of just decided to make it about too, like the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a mixture of like, because like the idea is like stoners can like still like do stuff, and they're not just like, the idea is to like break the idea of just the lazy stoner and like the creative passion that it kind of like pursues in you, because that's like a big thing like we did for me. It's like it like sparked a lot of creativity into me, and like we both have like the creative passion in common, and that's like, yeah, that's what it's all about. It's just like doing your thing and like finding your way to express yourself in a way that can connect with others, and like that, like, because it goes back to like how we're talking about like being okay being by yourself, but like also like through that, like you're able to be creative and still connect with others and fulfill this like inherent desire for humans to have this like connection with each other. And
I mean, art is a level of it. Like, I mean, you see one of the greatest paintings, you know, if you go to Mona Lisa, and it invokes emotion, and invoking emotion is a different, you know, level of intelligence. That if you can get someone to feel sad or happy from looking at something you created, I mean, it takes a certain level of intelligence to do something like that, for sure. Like, but it's weird, man, like how people differentiate everything.
Yeah. That's why certain lyrics can hit so hard, because it goes back to the art. It's expressing something. It's demonstrating something that you were feeling, but you didn't know how to express. You didn't know how to label it or describe it or to say what it was. But an artist does, and that, you know, and when you see that lyric or you see something written, or, you know, paintings, like I never understood art, like, and the like, you know, like, oh wow, look at this museum, look at this shit, like this means this and this and this. I don't know any of that shit, but I can see how that can be. That's just like one form, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Some people don't listen to rap, they go to art museums. I don't I've gone to a couple art museums, but even within that, there's like different types of art. There's old shit, there's new shit, there's like 3D art, there's anime, there's all different types of graffiti art, all these different things. So it's like just different mediums that relate to the different types of people, I guess.
Dude, you can get inspiration from just. So one of the things, you like hip hop. I definitely recommend if you haven't checked it out already. It's called Hip Hop Evolution. It's a documentary on Netflix about the history of hip hop. And Rakim, he talks about how one of his influence was Johnny Coltrane, a jazz musician.
Whoa,
and
Coltrane!
How because Rakim was one of the first ones. Because in the early hip hop, it was just like one to the beat, hip hop. Yeah, you know what I'm doing on the beat. And
it was small, in the idea.
And he was the first one to really kind of take his voice and add flow to it and flow with the music. And he said how his inspiration was Johnny Coltrane because he would feel when he would play. I don't know what instrument he plays off the top of my head, but whatever he would play, Rakim was like, I could hear his emotion through his notes. Because Johnny Coltrane was living through the time of civil rights movements and before that. So you can feel the emotion, the anger, pain, whatever it may be. So 100%, you can get inspiration from anything, bro. Anything, and that's crazy. That's
great that you bring that up. Andre 3000 and Rick Rubin on the Broken Records podcast had a very similar conversation where
I saw that, bro. I actually saved. I was like, I gotta check that out. 100%.
No, you should. It was a great conversation. Yeah, it was really good to like pick his brain a little bit, especially where he's at now, because he hasn't put anything out in so long. Mm-hmm. But the music, he's playing the flute right now, but he was playing a different instrument before, and they were talking about listening to music outside of your genre will always help you, will always be beneficial to listen to totally different types of songs, because I think like Bombs Over Baghdad, that song inspiration was like from like some type of rock song, but you could dance to both of them. I forgot what that song was, but they're basically saying that you could play those songs back to back at a party, and if you can do that, that means those songs could be from different genres but still be consistent with the same type of energy. Yeah, so it was good to listen to like different. Jay-Z was playing the drums since he was 4, and rapping is like the drums. So he had that rhythm, and you could hear that too, because you want to be able to hear beats, and then like Rakim, like start that instead of it just being so simple, like you said, like that 1 2 3 4. No, it's 1 2 3 4, but it's going at the same wavelength as the music to the song.
Yeah, bro. I gotta listen to that podcast, man.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
I was reading that Rick Rubin did such a great interview that he did a better interview than people that are paid to interview these artists.
I didn't know who he was. I was listening to the podcast, and I didn't know that he worked on music with a bunch of great people and a bunch of great projects. Yeah. But you could tell the way he carried the conversation, the way he asked the questions, which I put it on a big pedestal, like where to achieve it, where he was control the conversation. His questions would evoke long responses from Andre 3000, but he was so relaxed and seemed like with no agenda. It's not like he had a list of questions he had to get through.
He talks like that, bro. Like, yeah, man. And then what happened?
It literally like he had all the time in the day, which he probably didn't. Like he probably did have other shit to do, but that whatever they were doing in that moment, it just sounded like holy shit, yeah. And he looks like God too, like Zeus, like white and then the white beard and all that shit. He's like, just talking into the questions. But it's easier to do that when you're face to face too. When the physical environment is comfortable and you're on people you're comfortable with too, that completely changes the way the whole conversation gets carried out.
Yeah, dude. So definitely check out that. I recommend like both of y'all like check that documentary out.
Yeah.
Because Rick Rubin is one of those pioneers of hip hop. Like hip hop wouldn't be where it's at without him. Just because he was helped Run DMC and Beastie Boys and LL Cool J and all these artists that were just influences for the artists that we kind of like. So yeah, dude. All these. I gotta listen to all this shit. There's so much, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So get lost in it.
Let me ask you, bro, because you had brought up like the smoking bar over there.
Yeah.
What's it like over there? I mean, the difference, because I hear Netherlands has bars too, and
no, Netherlands is like I don't think the Netherlands has a I don't think it's technically legal. I think it's just allowed because I think outside of Amsterdam, tourists cannot buy weed. Like you can go to other Dutch cities, but you can't buy weed if you're a tourist. With Spain, it's a gray area. It's sort of a way where the government is saying like, we're not saying you can't, but we're not offering you a legal platform to do so. So what the associations are, you do official paperwork, like opening like a real business. It's not, you're not allowed to market or advertise. You can't have a storefront. It's secret actually. You can only get to it if you've been referred by someone else. You need to refer to go there, and it'll be like some type of door. Like in the city, normally it was some type of buzzer, and you can go in. Barcelona's a bit more tourist.
It's like the 1920 speakeasies of United States.
But it's not. But it's nothing crazy. There's no code or anything.
Okay.
There's like this. It's not like in some weird part of the city. It's in normal areas everywhere, and nobody even realizes because you notice if nobody notices bars, you're just walking by, or 7-Eleven is just another business. You know what I mean? It's just, but you can't have a storefront or something like that, or to advertise. And you need to be a resident. A lot of places don't want to take tourists. Some places are designed the other way around to market from tourists, not residents. So it all depends on where in Spain. Mm-hmm. And you are not, on paper, you are not, buying weed at this place. What you are is a social club, and you are paying your membership dues. And in return for those dues, there are gifts that they can hand back to you. Yeah. And that's essentially what you're doing.
Oh, wow.
When I was in Maryland, I would go to DC, and it was legalized there, but it was like kind of the same thing. There was like these houses, and they would have like parties there. And then basically a bunch of dealers would set up like tables at the parties, and you couldn't actually buy weed, but they all made stickers. They'd have like custom stickers, and you'd buy like a $70 sticker, and they'd gift you. They'd like, hey, you know what? I'll give you some weed. Like, here's a gift. Like it was
interesting.
It's kind of low key. Like, I'm just gonna give this to you because you bought my $70 sticker.
Here's a gift. Yeah, no, it had to be called a gift. Yeah.
So that's interesting because, that's it's a loophole because that's essentially what, the legal system is. It's just, it's loopholes.
A bunch of loopholes.
The people that wrote the laws, they only did it so they don't get caught. They didn't do it to, make sure, are we in line with ethics? Because that's bullshit. No, the ethics is here. You can do so many things that are not illegal, but they're definitely not ethical. Mm-hmm. And when you have a system like that, you're bound to always get a bunch of fucked up people. They're like, I didn't do anything wrong. They mean legally wrong, but you did something maybe morally or ethically. So when those two are out of tune, and we don't know how to define the ethics with the way, because we have a system. Two people can do the same crime and then get two different punishments. That's pretty fucked up.
And unfortunately, a lot of people's moral lines are kind of just way out there. Who knows what the hell they're thinking? But yeah, man. So, what time is that over there? You're like 8. I remember flying from Germany. Like it was like 8-hour flights, bruh.
Yeah.
It's 1:30 right now in the morning.
Oh shit.
Damn, bruh.
Yeah.
Bro, over here it's. What time is it? 5:30. Holy crap! What is that?
5:30. Oh shit! I woke up around that time. I was up last night till 5:30 in the morning, and then I woke up at 2:34, and then by the time I got out of bed and sat down, and I was like looking for my little roach, I look at the time and I was like, it was 4:20 p.m. I was like, oh shit! I went to 12 hours later. Yeah.
Damn.
That's funny as shit.
And that's the worst, bro. That would be the worst. That's the worst whenever you wake up early, you're tired all day, and then you hit that bed and your brain's like, nah, boy, we're gonna think about something random.
Yeah.
I thought I was high, but I wasn't. That's the thing. I was just so tired. And then, boom, next thing I know, I was like, oh. I just had banana and some water, and I was like, whoa. Blinking, everything is refunctioning. You know what I mean? It's like when you restart the car and everything lights up. It's like, oh shit.
Whenever you're tired, you get those sleepy giggles, and everything's just funny.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Dude, y'all get that too. Shit, yeah. You just be like, you closing your eyes, you're about to fall asleep. You're like,
You'd be laughing. My mom would be like, "Tienes sueño? You're tired, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah." But shit, man, appreciate you coming on, man. This was sick, dude.
Yeah.
I was like,
this was too, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so what's the unfiltered vitamin Z?
Yeah, what's your tag, man? Where can everyone's listening find you and
Yeah,
listen?
unfiltered vitamin Z. Unfiltered vitamin underscore Z, and it's on Spotify. I'm distributing through Buzzsprout. So if you listen to other places like smaller places, it should be there. But for Spotify, for sure, it's on there. And I recently made an Instagram page for it to unfiltered vitamin Z because I wanted to like put like short videos and shit like that, or like ask questions and you know post things like there too. So yeah, those two places. But yeah, I appreciate you all. This was a great conversation. First off, I hope you know future ones too. With
No,
the
bro,
Puff
for
Puff
sure.
Crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was shocked, dude, because like I said, some random guy from Spain. Like,
Yeah.
let's see how this goes. And bro,
Yeah,
we've
bro.
been. I mean, it's been like an hour and 25
I forgot
minutes,
how long
man.
it's been too. That's the thing. Yeah, I meant to finish this and like I got so excited I forgot. Yeah.
I saw you hit it. I was like, okay, that's how we know we do it. We have some, good conversation going. You can just spark up and hit the joint, man.
I haven't smoked with people in a while, like in person. I'm usually like to do it like by myself. I like fucking around with people and I get like, like interacting with people. But for some reason, like as an introvert, it's like a recharge for me. Sometimes it could drain me more. Like you said earlier with yourself, like where it kills the opposite. You're like, damn, I don't kind of like fuck with these people that much, you know. But yeah, so it's like it's better off to just do it by yourself sometimes.
Yeah, 100%, man. But all right, bro. Appreciate it. Have a good night,
Take it
man.
easy.
I guess we're gonna go
Appreciate
eat
it.
dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure,
man.
man.
We gotta do
Good
this
day.
again.
For sure. Appreciate it. Take it easy,
Appreciate
y'all.
man.
Yo, see ya.